today I'm going to talk about how to make pecan pie. Because I love baking and pies. I love making pies. Whenever it's like Thanksgiving or something, like Thanksgiving or Christmas, I'm always asked to make the pies by my family. And so my favorite kind of pie to make is pecan pie. And I remember watching my grandma make the pies for Thanksgiving and Christmas when I was growing up, and I always wanted her to teach me when I got older, but unfortunately she passed away before I was old enough to learn how to make the pies. So I had my mom teach me, and then she taught me, and then as I practiced more and more, like helping her and stuff, I got better at making them. So the level of difficulty for this is about easy to medium if you follow the instructions right. They're pretty simple. Takes about an hour and 20 minutes total. It's like prep time 20 minutes, baking for an hour. Depending on how big you make the slices of pecan pie, it serves approximately 8 people. You're gonna need several tools, like 2 mixing bowls, one for the pie crust and the other for the filling, rubber spatula to mix the filling together, a fork to mix up the dry ingredients for the pie crust, measuring cups and spoons, and then a pie pan, obviously. So for the crust, it's 2.5 cups of flour, 6 tablespoons of butter, a pinch of salt, and then you want 6 to 8 tablespoons of cold water, and it has to be cold, otherwise it just won't turn out properly. And then for the filling, it's 2 cups of pecans, and a cup of dark Karo syrup, a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of regular sugar, 3 tablespoons of melted butter, 3 whole eggs, and a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And you want to make sure the butter is melted, because I've had experiences where I put partly melted butter in my filling. It looked a little weird. It'll cook fine, it's not very pleasing for the eyes. So to start off, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. The reason you want to preheat it is because you want to make sure your oven is hot when you go to put your pie in, because if not, it's gonna not cook evenly. The crust might burn before the filling is fully cooked. It's just gonna take forever. And there are some times when you do put your pie in that the crust does start to get a little brown, and I'll go over that later on after I've discussed all the other steps. So for the crust, you want to put all the dry ingredients, so the flour and the salt, into the bowl. And then in the bowl, you want to cut the cold butter like into little cubes. And then when you put it in there, you'll use the fork to kind of push it up against the edge of the bowl. It's hard to explain without the actual stuff in front of me, but anyway. And then as you're using it, you want to do it until they're pea size or smaller. Depends on how flaky you want your crust, I guess that would be a good way to describe it. And then once you do that, you want to slowly add little by little the cold water into the dry ingredients. Then you can use the fork or you can use your hands. It all depends on your preference. It doesn't matter. And then you want to take the dough out of the bowl, put it on a clean counter, and you want to roll it out. Roll it out into circular shape. Go a little bit bigger than your pie pan. And then once you do that, you'll fold it in half and then in half again, so into fourths. And then that'll make it a little easier to put it into the pie pan, as opposed to trying to pick it up and set it into the pie pan. And then you'll set that aside, and then you'll go ahead and start making your filling. So, another thing for the filling, I forgot to say pecans. Most important part. So for the filling, you can go ahead and take your pecans, your 2 cups of pecans, I do believe. 2 cups of pecans. You can go ahead and put that in your pie pan with your crust and just let it sit there. And then you want to spread it kind of fairly evenly. Some people do like designs like where the pecans like make a line around the edge, and you can do it like that. That takes forever, so I just pour them into the pan and just let it sit there while I'm making my filling. And then in the second bowl that you have set aside, you're gonna mix together the corn syrup, the sugar, the vanilla, and the eggs. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So just mix those together till they're, what's what I'm looking for? They're combined, like it's a nice consistency and they're well combined. And then you want to add the melted butter. And to melt the butter, you can either melt it in the microwave or on the stovetop, whichever your preference is. It doesn't matter. And then once you do that, oh, and another thing, if you don't have brown sugar, you can use a whole cup of regular sugar instead of doing half a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of regular sugar and brown sugar. Instead of doing half a cup of each, you can do a whole cup of regular sugar, or vice versa. If you don't have regular sugar, just brown sugar, just do a whole cup. I prefer doing half a cup of each just because it gives it a nice golden color. And then so once you mix all of the sugar, the butter, the eggs, the vanilla into a bowl, you'll pour it into the pan. Then you'll take your pan and you'll put it in your oven for 60 minutes or an hour, depending on how you want to type that in. Then if you're not sure about the doneness of like the center of the pie, like after the timer is gone, like done, then you can, with oven mitts, you can pull, like grab the pan and give it a little shake. And then if it's kind of still a little jiggly, or if you want to risk it and like touch it, if it's, I'm trying to think of like a good consistency that would, like Jello, I guess. Like if it feels like Jello, it's not quite done, so you want to put it in for a little bit longer. And then if you push it but it's firm, then it's done. And if your crust starts to get a little brown before your center is done, you can pull out the pie. It's fine, it's not gonna hurt it. Just pull it out of the oven, set it up on top of your stove, get some foil and make like a circle to cover the crust. And before, you can make that before you put it into the oven, so that way you're not trying to touch the hot pie pan so you don't burn yourself. Just so that way if your crust is getting a little too dark, you can just go ahead and put that foil around it, and that'll keep it from browning more. And then you just put it back in until the center is done. Then once it's done, you just pull it out, let it cool for a minimum of 30 minutes. I guess it depends. And if you have room in your fridge, I guess you could put it in your fridge. I think I've done that. Yeah, it won't hurt it to like put it in the fridge or anything. You can do that, and it's good overnight. You don't have to refrigerate it the first night. Like if you bake it and then you forget to put it in the fridge, you're like, oh no, it's no good. No, it's fine. Completely fine. That's what my mom said. She's like, oh no, it's fine, just leave it out. I'll put it away tomorrow. I'm like, okay. And that's what my chefs have told me in school, and they're like, it doesn't matter. So you'll just cut and serve it and then enjoy. And yeah, that's how you make a pecan pie.